Hey folks, Prepared Suburbanite here with our May 29th garden update. So stick with us and we'll take you on the tour. We're supposed to be in the grips of a tropical storm Bonnie this weekend that's supposed to bring us about 3 to 3.5 inches of rain over the next couple of days. But there's a break obviously in the weather right now, or I wouldn't be out here filming. But I wanted to bring you up to date on the progress of our garden. If you remember the April 29th update where we had planted the tomatoes, just wanted to give you an update on how big the tomato plants have grown over the last 4 weeks or so. And get down in here, that's my wife's experimental celery plant that she just cut the bottom out of a celery plant that we bought at the grocery store and decided that that would be a pretty interesting test to see if we could actually get celery growing, and by goodness, I think that thing is really coming along well. It's pretty amazing. Pepper plants, this one got beat down just a little bit in the weather, but it seems to be doing okay. We got peppers there and there, big tomatoes over here. On this side, the tomatoes are just absolutely going crazy. I'm not sure I can get far enough away to get them all in the picture. There we go. So that's the tomatoes. Most of these are Boxcar Willies, if memory serves. There was Romas. I believe these are Romas over here. And we got the Boxcar Willies there. These are mostly Boxcar Willies in this bed. And they seem to be doing pretty darn well themselves. There's some big boys and Boxcar Willies mixed down in here. We do have some blossoms, and we do have some tomatoes starting to grow right in there. Look at that. So with it being the end of May, it looks like we'll be enjoying fresh garden tomatoes within the next couple of weeks or so. Moving over to the other side, our sweet peas have just gone crazy. They're starting to find their way up the trellis, the string trellis that we put up. Lots and lots and lots of blossoms. The beans have gone absolutely insane. They're about knee-high right now, and lots and lots and lots of blossoms on both varieties here. There's Blue Lake on one side and another kind of a bush variety on the other side, and I can't remember which one's which right now, but that's probably not all that important. The fact that they've grown well and they're starting to blossom crazy is really in our favor. In the early veggies, we've still got lettuce coming up like crazy. My wife was out here yesterday and picked a whole bowl full of lettuce and spinach. The radishes that we had in this row have matured. We've pulled them all and eaten most of them already. They were actually pretty darn good. And we planted a second rotation in the far raised bed, and I'll get to that in a minute. The carrots are going crazy. Beets are going. The onions are suffering just a little bit, but we'll get to there maybe someday. Hopefully, the onions will start coming up. Flowers are all doing good, trying to draw in the pollinators. And I learned just a couple of weeks ago that the neighbors have decided to take up beekeeping as a holiday, or as a hobby. And they've got a hive up there, and according to their 11-year-old son, there's at least 1 million bees in there. we'll see how many there really are. But we did go up and take a look at the hive. He's getting professional help. The family's getting professional help from the state university. They've got a beekeeper person that has come around to give them assistance, making sure that they're doing it right and knowing how to properly feed it and maintain the hive and all that. And they seem to be doing pretty good. I may be able to work in a couple of clips of that.
So what you got is capped brood. These are all bee babies. They've gotten crowded and some babies have hatched, so they're going back in and they're filling it in with sugar water. That's why we got to add that extra box before they think they're real crowded. And then they start swarming. There's your bee babies, Claire.
What's that white and like
up here? That's your food, which is going to be your sugar water, because they're not making honey really right now because you're still feeding them sugar water. And then they've also got pollen. The bee babies need.
Here's the far bed with a couple of big boys at the end there, and they're starting to blossom pretty well. And we've got the second planting of radishes in this row here, and they're coming up pretty good. Haven't checked to see if they've actually started producing radishes yet or not. We've got the other green beans cooking here, and our friendly plastic owl that miserably failed at his job. We had planted corn in this bed here, and it got to be about knee-high, and the squirrels got at it. Apparently there's enough sugar sweetness in the stalks themselves that the squirrels just came in and tore it all down. You can kind of see the remnants of the small corn stalks right there, but it's gone. So kind of too late to be replanting corn now, but that's the way it goes. We picked up yesterday a couple of yarrow plants from the local farmer's market and got those planted. They're supposed to be great for medicinal purposes. You can make poultices that are supposed to help relieve poison ivy and poison oak kind of rashes and things like that. Supposed to be able to make a good tea out of that kind of stuff when you mix it with those leaves and leaves of the plantain, which we've got one growing right here. So we're pretty excited about that. The grapes are still trying to get a foothold. We'll see. I retightened all the supports for them just the other day, and hopefully they'll be able to get big enough and strong enough to really start relying on those supports. But it's been kind of touch and go with the grapes. They really haven't produced any fruit. This is our second year with them. We're just kind of letting them grow and develop and get their root base started, and hopefully in the next couple of years we'll be able to enjoy some fresh grapes. The blackberries, we had to put the bird netting over the blackberries because as you can see, we are starting to get ripening blackberries in there, and pretty excited about that. This is really the first year that they've really started producing well. So we got the bird netting over them to protect them from the crazy birds that come in. The cardinals are especially destructive when it comes to those kinds of fruits. The fruit trees, this one here is a plum. The fruit trees are just getting all kinds of tall here, which I think is great. That one got damaged, and it's starting to come back to life a little bit here. We'll see how it all eventually does turn out. We've got an Anna apple tree right there, and that one seems to be really taking hold and growing pretty well. This is another plum here that's really starting to feather out pretty good, starting to get some good growth on it. Pretty pleased with that. That's another apple tree back there. Seems to be doing pretty well. And then down in the lower garden, we've got the squash going. So we've got a couple of different kinds of squashes down in here. Summer squash and butternut squash. cooking down in here. Not sure if the butternuts are going to do all that well, but the summer squashes are really coming in, getting big. And over at the far end, along the base down there, are cucumbers. And they seem to be lagging a little bit behind. But this area doesn't get as much sunlight as we'd really like. And we did grow cucumbers there last year, and they seem to do pretty well. We'll see what happens this year. Well, that's about it for the tour of the garden. Compost pile is cooking. Just wanted to give you the quick update of where our garden has progressed in the last few weeks. I think it's probably twice as tall and twice as fruitful as it was back then. So this is the Prepared Suburbanite, reminding you to be prepared always. Prepared Suburbanite out for now.